It will be officially our long format video, Doctor. What are we talking about today?
We'll be talking about a hot topic currently. I think we got some headline in the news about Malaysian artists having deal with an overdose by
Oh yeah.
his girlfriend.
Yes.
So more specifically recreational drugs. We keep it short and simple as not to confuse. Most common drugs in Malaysia are meth first, second is ketamine, and third is cannabinoid. It's like marijuana or ganja. So other than that, there are more drugs, but then these are the top threes, which are mostly seized or always seen in patients coming back for recovery.
The market right now is flooded with all these substances, right?
Yes.
Cannabinoid. Is it the extract from marijuana?
Is a THC byproduct whereby they extract from marijuana
I
or
see.
ganja itself.
What's the reason rather than the leaves itself?
It's simply extraction is more potent. If marijuana, usually when you consume it, traditionally you would dry the leaf and then you would burn them like cigarettes, and then you would wrap them with tobacco paper, and then you smoke them. But then each marijuana product, they do have their own milligram according to their strain. When you extract them, they have a tendency to be more potent because you can mix them with other diluent. You can inhale them, you can ingest them, you can do with cooking also. They do make cookies with them. And then some of them are even used medicinally, such as massage oil for people with chronic pain. I would say it's not to make it more potent, but to make it alternative ways to consume it.
As we know, the case involving 4 substances. So today's in this video, we want to be talking about a particular substance for the audience out there to understand. What is amphetamine?
So amphetamine, I think all together with ketamine and also marijuana, they are all recreational drugs. So methamphetamine can be called short as meth or shabu, is a form of drug whereby they are chemically engineered. So it is believed that it can stop the intake of serotonin. So it can help more serotonin inside your brain because they do not degrade. So they keep on piling up in your brain. So you have a sense of euphoria. Compared to ketamine we do use it in medical grade because in emergency situation, ketamine can help for people with having acute respiratory distress secondary to bronchial asthma. They do help with bronchodilation, but some people would take it or misuse them to alter their state of mind. And then the third one is cannabinoid. So cannabinoid, I think relatively is illegal in Malaysia, but have been proven to have some medicinal benefit. Now we can see towards Thailand, they are calling back or they are trying to pull back the legalization of cannabinoid because they do feel that they develop more problems as compared to more benefit in terms of tourism.
Cannabinoid is also in the one of the ingredients in the vape and also mixture of methamphetamine.
Yeah.
So maybe we can also let our audience know that all this combination into one, what is the reaction to it?
Reaction. In terms of when we talk about vape products, we need to talk about cigarettes also, right? So why are people going towards e-cigarettes or vaping compared to cigarettes? So now with the technology, e-cigarettes was developed to help dispense nicotine in a sense in a safer way. So meaning that less combustion. So if you look into nicotine product, they also have around 6 to 7,000 compound, which 70 of them are carcinogenic, meaning they can cause cancer. When e-cigarettes started developing more and more research are coming out. So I would say that cigarettes is a well-known bad person. It's like the devil. You know them, but then it tastes so good. But then for e-cigarettes, it's something new, something excited. But then we have no idea what are the effect yet. So now people are starting to see the popcorn effect. So popcorn effect of the lungs, meaning there are scar tissues at the lung itself. But then most of them are associated with drug-less vaping compared to regular vape. But then we do need to understand that when the vape has flavor, it is an additive which can cause popcorn lung effect.
Is that also part of the inflammation?
Yes. So there is inflammation targeting the lung parenchyma, the lung tissues. So they harden and then they lose their elasticity. So meaning that they have difficulty changing or expanding to have pressure from the external atmosphere to push the oxygen inside your blood. So it does have detrimental effect. But then this is more common towards vaping laced with drugs. We still cannot rule out regular vapes with regular flavorings.
Because I think they are into this vaping. I think is one of the main reason will be very convenient. So quite cheap.
Yes.
A stick I heard 14 ringgit for a week compared to cigarette.
Yes.
So cigarette is still as the traditional usage. There's smokers still smoke. A rising of these substances, I think people now is under control by all these, pharmaceutical drugs. So what is the reaction to this compound?
When we see a regular tobacco product, there is regulation by the Malaysian Tobacco Association. So how many tar nicotine goes inside a cigarette? There is a regulation. So people have to answer why is this product not safe? What are the legal steps or the steps taken by the governing body to control this? So even though smoking is allowed in Malaysia, but they are heavily taxed, and then they are awareness towards the box each individual. And then now, as you can see, most of the clinics, most of the businesses have a mandatory sticker whereby you are not allowed to smoke in the premises. So now we can see they are actively doing, the regulation can be enforced. Okay, but as compared to vaping, there is no regulation, meaning don't care how many VG, PG, glycerol. So the component of vape can be PG or VG, which is vegetable glycerin or proper glycerin, and then it does not take account the properties or the flavoring. What are the source of the flavoring? Is it food flavoring? Is it edible? Is it something non-edible, cannot be digested? And then there is no regular testing for these products. It's easy for people to put other compounds like meth, like ketamine, and then like cannabinoid products. This is becoming more popularized because when you take recreational drugs, they tend to have not a good experience, meaning that you do have a sense of burning sensation, painful inhalation, whether be it cannabinoid or meth. When you use a vape product, it tends to be smoother, so got flavors, less harsh, and then people are easily bought into it. We do need to realize that when you mixing other compounds, especially things that we never combined before, so for example vegetable glycerin together with meth, it does not stabilize, so meaning that
Biochemically.
biochemically does not stabilize. So meaning that your first puff may be low dose, but your third and fourth puff can be overdose. So this is like a
Complication.
Russian roulette. So every puff you take is a Russian roulette. It's not something that that can give the same consistency or the same potency. So that's why it can be quite detrimental. Some people say, "Wow, this product quite good, feels so good," and then when another person try, suddenly they go rush into the ER. Even the same product of the same vape item. So this is the danger of compounds in vape products.
So what can be done if someone who is now watching the video, maybe he's a vape person, right? So what can be actually done or advice for them to stay away? How they gonna overcome with this situation?
I think for an average person who vape regularly, just nicotine product or even non-nicotine product, whereby they don't want to use illicit drugs in the product, it's difficult because there is no regulation, there is no certification. So as for medicine, as for supplements, we have KKM approved, we have food product, we have MESTI approved. But for vape product, there is no certification or meaning that there is any safety. Even though cigarettes are not good and harmful, but then they are regulated by the Tobacco Association. If you want to say or you want to keep vaping and then to choose a good product for you, that is technically impossible because there is no regulation and then there is no testing. If you are someone who are using or already exposed towards things we have compound such as illegal drugs, then the best thing is try to stop lah, and then try to seek help. Some people they do have addiction, so they have tried from friend, peer pressure, and everything. So it does take some effort for them to stop. So the good thing about Malaysia now in 2024, they have revised the Dangerous Drug Act. So when you see at the Dangerous Drug Act, people who has possession of illicit drugs, they can be imprisoned or can be go through the death penalty. But now there is more leniency. When you come, there won't be any repercussion in terms of imprisonment if you are not pushing or you are not selling. If you are a user, you will get the help as compared getting punishment. When we look into Portugal, so they have done this for the past 5 years. So they have seen increased rate of recovery from treatment and then 80% drop in overdose. For government policy, meaning that they are more lenient towards people who are taking these drugs. And there are many platforms, okay? There is Petra, and then there is AADK. AADK meaning there is a hotline for you to call and get help and seek treatment. And all of these are anonymous. So it does help with the people who are dealing with these issues.
For user, not for those who sell.
Distribution. So for distributor, it's a bit different. Last time we can see they are liable to the death penalty, but they are going more lenient, whereby if you turn yourself in or you try to give more information, meaning that there is less tendency to be death penalty, but then the more lenient what judgment. So more lenient judgment, meaning they can go through rehabilitation, they can go through the community services, and then they can go through the recovery better, even though you are pushing or you are distributing. This is not really a symbol towards people, oh, you can do drugs or you can sell more drugs because no death penalty. No. When you give them less stigma, more opportunity for recovery, so less people tend to buy. So when people are ashamed and people are blackmailed and people are forced into it, so people tend to avoid recovery. But when we destigmatize, when we decriminalize, it does show people tend to recover better, and then with support from the community itself.
Right. So speaking about the recent drug case, right, where get caught of four compounds,
Yeah.
four substances. In a medical standpoint, right? In a medical perspective, how do you see the user? Is it someone who is tolerance of these drugs, therefore mixture of all these compound, amphetamine, methamphetamine, and what is the cannabinoid? What is the medical perspective in this user itself? From law, we understand it is illegal, right? Using the substances and causing the death, which is still under investigation. We don't want to comment on that. From a medical perspective, when you look into all these substances in a human body, what it actually do?
I think it's important for us to answer why are they taking the illicit drugs. So there have been studies conducted throughout everywhere, but then there is also statistic in Malaysia itself. So we can see more of the northern region are more affected by drug usage, meaning that Kelantan, Perak, Perlis higher rates of drug usage. So upon the studies, they can conclude that more people are because the post-exposure towards the pandemic, where people are stressed and isolated, so they have difficulty integrating to society and also dealing with emotion and real life situation, personal issue. And then the second is dealing with the current economic status. So now I think a lot of pressure according to the economy. So a lot of people have the mentality and have difficulty dealing with stress. It tends to affect people who are 15 to 39 years old. So that is the highest population of using the recreational drug. Either, well, albeit can be the first time or regularly. So when we know why they take it, so it's a form of dealing with stress. But then, of course, when people deal with stress, they want to enjoy themselves, right? So most of these drugs does cause a certain point of euphoria. So meaning they want to distress, they want to forget about the past, they just want to focus on the current. Usually, they are associated with paraphernalia, with sexual acts, and then things like this does enhance the experience there. Yeah. So in terms of what we can see from people from prolonged usage, usually you can see a decay in the animal, so enamel of the teeth. So sometimes the teeth tend to be more yellowish, more brittle. Sometimes the gums tendency to become bleeding or darker, and then they tend to look more older or age because of the smoking. So smoking can be from the meth itself or from the regular smoking from the cannabinoid. So they have more lines at the mouth, and then in terms of the eyes, usually we can see whether if ketamine, they do have nystagmus, meaning the pupil always vibrates or cannot focus. And then for meth, they usually dilate. So when you touch or you flash a torchlight in the eye, so there is no illicit response. They have different effects. They do have issues with ketamine has been associated with ulcerative cystitis, meaning your bladder tend to be problematic. So can be incontinence or painful urination. Whereas for meth, usually they have issues with memory. So certain drugs do have their effect, but then usually when they come clinically, either they have withdrawal symptoms when they want to stop, or they try to seek help. The friend or the family or the partner, they don't know what to do, then rush them to the ER. For solution, usually depends on the severity of the case. So in case of patient who are overdose, you do need to push them towards the ER, and then we do resuscitate. Can be resuscitation, can be intubation, depends on the symptom. Usually if overdosing, we try to give as much as fluid and then remove. If the kidney is already damaged, then we can go for dialysis in the intensive unit, and then if there is toxicity, we can give next person. We can be an antidote also. In terms of patient, that one is if they are overdose and they require immediate resuscitation. But for people who are having issues with withdrawal symptoms, they want to stop, then they can seek help with any clinic, with any hospital. So usually
Flushing, what is the procedure?
usually it's just abstinence, meaning you just stop taking it.
Immediately?
Yeah, immediately.
And then any like the side effects?
So
What is the most severe side effects of for example methamphetamine?
I would say overdose is like death would be the worst side effect.
If the withdrawal
So for withdrawal, meaning vomiting, abdominal pain, headache,
period, how long is the period?
usually around 2 to 3 weeks.
So they have to go through that
Yeah, withdrawal symptoms.
and they have to really have that support during that
Yes,
time.
correct. So for meth, we do have methadone. So methadone is a smaller dosage and also a safer alternative towards people who are having issues with meth, and then they are less addictive. So it does help with the craving, with the withdrawal symptoms. So we taper down the dosage. So can help them better.
So this is a pill form medicine
Yes, correct.
and is available in any clinics?
Not every clinic, but then for psychiatric clinic, for drug rehabilitation clinic, we do have
For
methadone.
general clinics?
General clinic, no.
Normally they don't carry this.
Yeah, no.
This is a specialized, like a specialist treatment, right?
It's not really a specialist treatment,
Okay.
but then it's not really
General as well.
general or popular treatment, because there is some connotation or some stigma towards people who are taking methadone. So that's why for clinics, some people cater to children, some people cater to the elderly. So when they promote themselves as methadone clinic, people tend to associate with, oh, this is a drug
Rehabilitation.
drug user clinic.
I see.
So they don't want to expose themselves
Have that
or
mindset for the
children.
people,
Yeah.
right?
So it's technically more towards stigma. For us, we do have, but then only for special requests only. So technically, we don't have walk-in or available at all time. But then, if a patient does require help, we try to assist as much as possible. With psychology, with counseling, and also with dispensation of the medication itself.
I think most people who get into drugs or even want to try, they are mentally emptiness, I guess. Therefore, they want to get into all this the thrill to have a taste of the drugs. So once they try, that's where the problem comes, right?
But you'll be surprised the number one cause is not emptiness or depression. What do you think would be?
Number one,
Is peer pressure. So that's why people say, like smoking, if you follow your friend, then you will doing drugs. So technically, there is some truth to it. Peer pressure is the common, because it's not easy to get drugs, especially illegal drugs.
friends,
Yeah, it's all through connection.
connection, the people around.
Yeah, people around you, the availability. So that's why. And then recreational drugs, rarely people do it alone the first time.
How can people, be more aware and also more independent rather than my friends do it, therefore I have to do it as well?
I think people do need to understand the repercussion of illegal drug use. So what are the side effects? What are the chronic or long-term effect? Because usually when people are not exposed, people struggling with drug use, when we stigmatize, we don't talk about it, then we don't know. So when we know, or we have a family member, or we have a patient struggling with drug abuse, actually sometimes from a very sad situation. So now I think it's common knowledge or quite popular in the sense that most of the children are recruited for grooming. So meaning that children between 14 to 16, they are taken by adult men, they are given drugs, and then they are made addicted, and then they are pushed towards prostitution. So these are the techniques used, ways of people exploiting women and children. So it's important that we try to educate people not to be too trusting, especially for new people, or do not trust people giving you drinks or medication or trying new things. So things like this can be very dangerous.
Risky. You put
Very risky.
put yourself risky,
Yeah.
right?
And then the victims usually are female. When you are people with you trust or family members, then they are more likely to become addicts. So they spend a lot of money, they sometimes steal, borrow money, so just to get the drugs. They are not exposed. So when you are not exposed, you don't know. If you tell someone who want to try, did you know that drugs can lead you to prostitution, human drug mule, becoming what? Becoming addicted for life.
So the education in this aspect is not made enough,
Yes, correct.
especially in the country.
Education in the sense that
I mean, if I still remember that back in the days, it is not even any single education about
no drugs use, no.
about drugs.
Yeah, I think Malaysia so far for sex education, there is some sex education but very limited. For drug education, no. So far there is a big stigma. I think people who do drugs are bad. That's the only education we get. If you do drugs, you will die. If you do drugs, you're a bad person.
So this is the information that we have right now.
Yeah.
So how do we actually let the audience, especially the younger generation, right? What is the best way for them to stay away from this thing?
I think if we look to other countries, they do hold people who have history of drug abuse going through rehabilitation and then improving. So when they hear their story, when they hear how they get into it, what are their thoughts? I think most of the time when people go into drugs, oh, I just want to try once only or twice, but then they tend to be addicted for
Yeah.
10 years. So most of the time, most people would know drugs are bad, but then
How they get into it?
how they get into it.
Maybe someone like what you just mentioned.
Peer pressure.
You know?
Someone they know.
Yeah.
Someone who will say, "Oh, this is something.
This is nothing, you can try."
You can try. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, of course, the regulation part, it has to be more severe in the outcome, the effect, for those who maybe sell, distribute, exploiting. So I think the regulation has to be also look into this aspect rather than the user itself, because the users many times is because of the environment, friends.
I think people do need to be aware, community awareness. I think we as a community are more distant. I understand that we are more busy, we have things to do, but then when you see someone or like a group of person in a community acting strangely or does show some sign of altered mental status, some you suspect maybe drug use, so something you can notify. So there is a government program. It is called Petra, which is the drug early tracking and prevention for people to report any suspicion or any history. So this one is more towards teachers, educators or community. So when they see children or teenagers having issues, disturb behaviors, or any looks like they have signs of usage, then they can report, and then the government can act quickly, so they can stop any distribution or can give the recommended treatment.
Right, one of the ways. But what about those regular users, like the adults? What is the best? Is there any way for them to to come into realization that this thing does not benefit, but in the long run it's just a lot of negativity, and also a lot of cases where ended up very bad. Yeah. So how can we actually let the people out there to understand the severity of this drug use?
I think for people who are not willing to change or reluctant, most of the time the best way is hearing from people they know and love, because with support and then with encouragement, they have more tendency to change. But then it's quite difficult to change that mindset if that person feels, oh, I'm okay, no issue for me, I feel fine, I don't think it's an issue. So I think it's just persistence from people that support him or her to push them towards living a drug-free life. And then usually this one for people at work also. So recently I got an employer having suspecting the male staff using drugs. So they called me to come to their center, do a impromptu or surprise urine test, and then found out 60% of the male workforce are using drugs. So
just to let the audience understand a little bit deeper, but not too details, because we're not going to expose the organization. Is a private sector or governmental?
Private. Usually government, they have their own
routine
team. Usually they go KK or KKM because better allotment of resources. So we do private. And then it was a big shock for me also. This is my first time, like almost half of the
exposing the
that's that big.
Also, what kind of compound that you found?
Meth I think is more cheaper, more accessible, and then I think it's all about availability. So meaning if one person have the resources, have the connection and have the access, then they can easily promote towards other peers.
So doctor, what is the most supremacy of the drugs? Is that methamphetamine?
The most considered in Malaysia, that's the biggest,
the highest,
the highest,
the strongest.
I think any drug can be severe if you take too much of it. It's difficult to say which one is more severe and everything. So
same with alcohol.
Yeah, if you take too much of it, it can be severe also.
So is in the other words, you can take but don't take too much?
You can take, but then it's illegal, and you can have medico-legal repercussion, because in the end it's your choice, it's your body. But then if you are caught distributing or using, then you are responsible, and as long as you are 18 and above, that's your decision. So technically you can do anything. They do not have to report it. They
just want to internally find out and do their due process, right?
But then 50% of your workforce, I think, quite difficult. So maybe there is some leniency. So maybe they can help with rehabilitation and then warning. If you depends on the employer. If they are very active, they can find new people, then good for them. But then technically in Malaysia, Malay tend to be more of the
higher usage. That's the
in general.
the demographic
Of drug abuse in Malaysia.
I see.
So I think it's important, if you suspicious or you look they are acting abnormally. It's not. You don't really need to confront them, but then sometimes there are certain things you can do that can help assess the situation. So it's not nice. You just say, "Oh, you look like you're a drug user." Yeah.
Judgmental, right?
Yeah,
That's also becoming a problem.
Yeah.
I think society has to be aware of the severity of drugs, negativity of drugs, and also to those who is lucky enough to have the awareness, maybe to show more support rather than more on the condemnation side, and to be more understanding why people get into it. Sometimes they don't know,
Yes.
and then they have been influenced to it, resulted in the outcome. It is actually as a whole community, right? So to support and to do more awareness, like this video, hopefully you can reach out to more people to let people understand the severity. What is the most bad situation for drug use? The health, of course, we know deteriorate very badly.
I think in physical aspect, usually we have patients who are overdose. So meaning they are unconscious, unresponsive. So we do need to resuscitate them in an emergency situation. For physical changes, teeth erosion, they tend to have gums issues.
Any drugs will lead to teeth issue, tooth
That one
decay,
more toward shabu, meth.
meth. What's the reason? Is there anything got to do with the bone?
They do cause lessen bone density, but then usually it's just erosion of the enamel of the teeth when you have the meth. I would not say that the physical aspect, because for me,
Differ from person to person, right?
yeah, differ from person to person, because I'm quite exposed for
All this.
all types of patients. So for me, for people who who abuse drugs are not really that severe. I've been people with have tumors as big as like a basketball on the chest, so necrotizing, blood and pus oozing out. So for me, drug abuse phases not really that severe. But for me, the sad thing is the story behind. I got one patient last time who got into taking drugs because of his brother. So when he was 15, his 18-year-old brother introducing him using shabu, and then the brother was the distributor, and then he keeps selling towards his little brother. He become in debt and keep paying his brother. He was exploited by his own brother for money. So that kind of story does touch my heart.